The Democratic Alliance in the Free State has condemned police for not acting on an illegal gathering outside the Bloemfontein Magistrate's court. Ace Magashula's supporters came out in large numbers today to rally behind the embattled ANC Secretary-General, contravening the COVID-19 Lockdown Disaster Management Act. For more reaction, we speak now to Jankielsohn, Democratic Alliance leader in the Free State Legislature. Mr. Jankielsohn, thank you very much for your time this evening. So in January, we saw elderly SASSA grant recipients blasted with water cannons while waiting to collect grants, and in contrast today we saw police doing nothing to enforce social distancing and mask wearing among Ace Magashula supporters in Bloemfontein. Is it the inconsistency with which the SAPS approaches law enforcement that you have a problem with?
Yes, we're very disappointed with the manner in which the police ignored the blatant defiance of COVID regulations by people wearing ANC regalia, and Umkhonto receives wear camouflage uniforms outside the court today. They attended in large numbers. They were not applying social distancing. Many of them were not wearing masks. And also they defied the ban on political meetings. And we feel that there's definitely an inconsistency with the police action, given that they were willing to use water cannons on vulnerable people, some of whom were on crutches, in Bellville in Cape Town during a visit by Minister Lindiwe Sisulu to SASSA officers there. And we've had soldiers patrolling beaches with automatic weapons to prevent people from surfing. And here we have a large number of ANC supporters who blatantly defy the regulations. And it appears that this happens with impunity, and the police were not willing to take immediate action. They've subsequently indicated that they will investigate it, but I think it's too little too late.
I absolutely agree with you. It is absolutely necessary that there is consistency, and the police today definitely should have acted on supporters attending that protest. However, the DA did not complain when Cape Townians broke lockdown regulations by going to the beach when beaches were still banned. In fact, I don't remember anyone from the DA complaining that protesters there should have been arrested. In fact, Premier Alan Winde the next day came out in support of protesters, saying the ban should be lifted. I put it to you that the DA only cries foul when it's politically expedient to do so, and when it's about scoring points against the opposition.
No, I think there are two issues that are applicable here. Firstly, the Democratic Alliance didn't agree with those regulations. In fact, we took them to court, and the police did act in those instances, where, as today, we saw large numbers of people blatantly defying it with a political motive, and the police ignored it. So I think they're very different circumstances that apply here. One is people on beaches, which is very different to large numbers of ANC people blatantly defying it. Those people went to beaches for leisure purposes. These people went to court with a political motive, and they were blatantly defying the regulations there. And it appears that the government, the ANC in government, is actually afraid of the ANC faction outside of government, and that's why they weren't willing to act. But we did see soldiers patrolling beaches, we saw surfers arrested, so the law was applied there and the regulations were applied there.
I disagree with you. I would say that in both circumstances, protesters were doing what they believed was in their best interest. In both instances, nobody was arrested. Only in one instance is the DA complaining. And I put it to you that that's because in the instance in Cape Town, those were most likely DA constituents. I mean, after all, the law is the law. You cannot condone lawlessness among your own constituents one day and condemn it in your opponents the next day without appearing to be cherry-picking.
Well, I can't say who those people were in Cape Town who might have been defying the law and which political party they supported. But this is a very different situation. This was a situation in which the Secretary-General of the ANC was appearing in court. Large numbers of people came out in defiance of regulations and the laws to support him in court. It's a very different situation. This is a blatant political motivated situation that is linked to internal ANC factionalism.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us. Roy Jankielsohn, Democratic Alliance leader in the Free State Legislature.